I'm not sure what podcast this is on, but Safaree's custody battles, with his ex, Erica Mena, and the reactions to that situation is just a cautionary tale. And I kind of look at it as the prototype, to be quite honest, a lot of these, with a lot of these custody arrangements, baby mama drama, all that. It seems to me like this is the prototype that I keep running into, or I'll see. Even though it's not, even if most cases are not that extreme as this, but you can use this specific situation between Safaree and Erica Mena, and you can use that as the reference point to point out toxic things that bitter baby mammies will do to strain the relationship between the kids and the father, right? So here, the caption, it says Safaree opens up about his past relationship with Erica Mena and trying to gain custody of his children. So I guess this woman here. I guess this is her show. I guess, but Safaree's going to talk about his situation with Erica Mena, and then we're going to look at the comments afterwards. Fair use, by the way. Fair use.
What do you do with your kids?
With this court going on and me not going to her house, I refuse to go to her house to pick up the kids.
Right.
Until this thing is set up on paper and I know, okay, this is my time, because our court order had to be moved from Atlanta to here. So now it's like, okay, what is the new schedule and setup going to be? Because I'm not going to be doing that. Okay, I'm picking them up because you said it's okay to pick them up, and then you want me to drop them off whenever. Like, I want it to be, okay, if it's Fridays, I pick them up from school, then Mondays I bring them back to school, then it's like, okay, then that's what it's going to be. But in like real life, it's just a very unstable situation with me having to have any type of direct dialogue with her.
That's terrible.
So right now I'm just in the legal process of trying to get it to be to that schedule where it was before it got domesticated.
What do you do with your kids?
So my reaction to the first part of the clip, there's I think 3 or 4 parts to this. My reaction to this first part is, it's a struggle. It's a real struggle when you're dealing with a very toxic baby mother. We can go into Erica Mena later on, but we're going to move on to part 2.
From Atlanta to Florida.
Oh, so you don't even have like your custody stuff is not settled yet.
Right now it's not. No.
Oh wow, I thought it was.
No, I wish it was. I wish it was. It's horrible because even like, when my daughter calls me and I'm like, okay, cool, I do want to get y'all, I want to see y'all.
You're right.
Bring them to point A, and I don't have no problem going there. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going nowhere near there for the transfer. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just still trying to get that figured out.
So when was the last time you saw the kids?
4 months ago.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
So doesn't that bother you?
Of course it bothers me. But I have to be strong, number one. And number two, I know it's not going to be like this forever.
Yeah.
From Atlanta to
Okay, now let's go to part 3.
Did you notice any red flags earlier on in this relationship?
Now, before we even continue on there, I'm interested in Safaree's response to this question, because technically that's a bait question. That's a bait question to make the baby mama look bad. So I want to see how he responds to this.
I feel like when you feel like you love somebody, you kind of want to, give them the benefit of the doubt,
right?
And say, okay, you know what? Maybe this is just a small little thing for now, and this isn't anything that's going to really be too long and drawn out,
So you did love her?
Of course, to marry someone and have 2 kids with them, you don't do that just because you like somebody,
That's true. So what made you say, you know what, let me marry her? I want to know. Why did you marry her?
I felt like at that time in my life, I just felt like I was ready.
Did you notice any red flags?
Smart guy. First of all, this is now, I guarantee you, if you ask Erica Mena or if you ask a baby mother the same question, did you notice any red flags? It's going to come up with, he hid this from me. She's going to come up with a whole thing of, it's either she's going to complain about him hiding who he is, which is false, or she's going to have a whole laundry list of things. Now, the reason why men tend to prefer not to even, if somebody asks them that in the public like that about their baby mothers, whatever, or their ex-wives, ex-girlfriends, etc., they'll have the same response. The almost verbatim, the exact same response, where they don't want to get into details because they're not really trying to make the mother look bad. And at the same time, they know them talking about the baby mother in a certain way, it's going to somehow reach back to them and it's going to end up in court. You know what I mean? So this is that was I expected him to maneuver that question exactly the way that he did.
He went to her tour. Do you still support her? Are you a Barb?
Or they talking about Nicki Minaj? Okay, so that part I don't need to watch.
Did you notice any red
from Atlanta to Florida?
flag?
So here's what I'm gonna say. Oh no, hold on. I have to show you some of these comments, and it's interesting because I've already done videos on Safaree and Erica Mena's situation, and we already saw the video of this girl acting a whole plump fool on camera, mind you, on camera. Meaning she people got ring door cameras everywhere. She knows he got cameras at the house. We saw her on camera climb a whole ladder, trespassing on his property, going all up in his house, yelling at him in front of the kids. And you just see her acting just insane, right? And you still have people acting like Safaree was was in the wrong, or Safaree was making it up where he's like, yo, I can't really be around this person. This person is very toxic. She's very abusive. You know what I mean? But even with video evidence, they don't care. They're still gonna call if you don't want to have anything to do with the baby mother anymore, they're just gonna call you a deadbeat. And I'm like, that being a deadbeat has nothing to do with if you don't want a relationship with the mother, that doesn't make you a deadbeat father. That just makes you a person that wants nothing to do with the mom. But because women like this are extreme narcissists, in their mind, if I'm not happy, then nobody's happy. So if she's not getting what she wants, then the father has no rights to the kids. That's why it's really hard for men that are not still sleeping with their baby mother to gain access to their kids, right? So right here, you're going to see some of these comments. You're going to see one that says, she says, deadbeat fathers always got nothing but excuses and blame. And I was just like, everything that he explained in the beginning, the first clip that I showed you, where he's not even trying to throw her under the bus, because men don't really be doing stuff like that. They try not to, but for some reason women don't see this. So she's clearly the extremely toxic one. I'm not saying Safaree holds no fault, but I'm saying it's clear to me in this case that she's the problem. And even with video evidence, with physical evidence, or with the evidence when you saw Erica Mena crying that, or complaining on camera that she wasn't getting a certain amount of child support. Yeah, celebrating one moment about getting a divorce being finalized, and then crying the next moment when she found out that the child support wasn't gonna be the way it is. So it's pretty clear that she's the problem, and she's the crazy one. But in her mind, nope, Safaree's the problem. Safaree's the problem, even though she's clearly the toxic one. And he made it, even though in the first clip he was trying to kind of talk around it because he didn't want to really make Erica Mena look crazy. That crazy. But bottom line, he was saying, look, I don't feel safe getting my kids from her spot because she has a history of going cuckoo. And that is another tactic that bitter baby mamas use to strain the relationship between the kid and the father. Because what ends up happening is, a lot of times in a smaller scale, I'm gonna give you an example in a smaller scale. This is what happens on a lot of times, where the kids, whether it be the daughter or the son, will be like, I want to see the father. And the mother will throw a whole hissy fit, or anytime his name gets mentioned or he gets mentioned, she goes insane. This is a tactic. People don't understand that is a tactic that women use. So now the kid he's going to finally be like, you know what, let me not even broach the subject of dad, because every time I mention dad, she goes crazy. That is a tactic that women use so that you don't so then she could be like, oh man, you don't want to see your kid. The kid doesn't even want to be around you. But really, the kid, he knows that if I bring dad up, it's gonna be drama. So he just stops mentioning that he wants to go to the father's house. He stops mentioning him at all. And then he or she has to just cope with that. It's a very dangerous tactic that, women really just use in just life in general, where you'll mention, like, even if you're talking with a woman about somebody, and like, oh, let me give you an example in my real life, right? So there's a girl I knew in high school. She used to be friends with this specific girl, right? And I'm talking about these to be super tight, super close, right? And then one day I happened to mention, I'm like, yo, have you seen blah blah blah? And then she goes, oh, that. So it's like every time I had mentioned her, she would be like, oh, that, just her whole mood would change. And then I'm like, damn, oh, okay. But it would be to the point where it's like, sheesh, where nobody could even bring her name up around her. But I was too young to understand the tactic that she was using, where basically, not only did I just stop mentioning her, I just ended up eventually thinking, damn, what did she do to her? You know what I mean? And I'd even get her side of the story. It's a very evil tactic. That's a very evil tactic. So right here, it's really a split comment section, to be quite honest with you. There was a lot of women still sticking up for Safaree, but there was still a lot of very ignorant women in the comment section that were still calling him a deadbeat. But like I said, deadbeat is just another word or term that women use to kind of just shut men down. Oh, you must be a deadbeat. You know what I mean? So right here, a woman goes, y'all keep calling him a deadbeat. The real deadbeat are the women who make it difficult for men to be there in the first place. If you're truly bitter and always causing a scene in front of your children, why does somebody have to kiss your tail to be a parent? He deals with it accordingly. Y'all just be mad when you can't control these men. Every move, it doesn't even be about the kids. Y'all just use them to keep the drama. Where is the lie in this comment right here? Like, where is the lie? Where's the lie? That's what I would say. Where is the lie? Where's the lie? This is what I believe. I believe 50 to 60% of men go through that. This specifically. I would say 60%, because I really think it's more than that, but I'm going conservative. I would say, F it, I'll say 60 to 70%. Yeah, a good 60 to 70% of men are going through this, where the women are consciously making it difficult between where basically just because like, just to pick up the kids should not be some stressed out thing. But women do this on purpose. If they're in that situation, they do that on purpose, where they make it very highly contentious. It's a very evil tactic, but it seems to be a very common tactic that many women use, and they keep getting away with it because you can't really bring it up in court. Little things here and there. You can't bring up, oh, she doesn't write down my number as an emergency contact for the kids. You can't really bring that up in court. These are little petty things, but these are what we call death, by 1,000 cuts, right? These are the things that we're talking about, where we're like, it's death by 1,000 cuts, just little here and there, and you can't really bring it up in a family court. They're not going to reprimand her for that. But you have women out there that are consciously, not unconsciously, consciously making it difficult just for men, for the men picking up their kids. They make it completely difficult, like for pick up and drop off, right? And by the way, shout out to Coach Greg Adams. I remember he said this. He said like, today's parents are very selfish in the fact where basically, where because you guys can't work things out, you guys will rather your kids live out of a suitcase. I was like, oh shit. Oh man. I never thought about that, how messed up that is. Or I remember, like, kids, like, it'll be like dudes you grew up when you were growing up, right? And you would have a friend, and they're like, damn, I left my homework at my dad's house or my mom's house. And then and I'm like, damn, that must suck, where you got to travel with a that joint is crazy. That stuff, this is the stuff that be scaring me from marriage. I mean, like, I can't, because first of all, I can't put my kid through that. It's one thing when if you divorce and there's no kids, but when there's kids involved, this is when the nonsense. This is how the nonsense starts, man.